All right. um, this is a story that goes all the way back to 2014. I remember every time we grouped with my friends to play basketball, especially Chama, he was my homie. Um, it was all about who had worked on his hops more, who had gotten taller, who had made the most progress getting closer to the rim. And that was all focused on just one goal. To finally dunk on a real rim. Summertime at my grandpa's house, with a sprained ankle on this crooked rim we had, setting my little iPod against the wall and doing these slam dunk contests of mine. Through this whole journey, I remember my biggest goal was to throw down a windmill on a real rim. That was like my favorite dunk, and I knew that one day I would be able to make this. Winter 2014 now, late 2014, not even being close to dunking yet on a local court. I remember we would use all tools available in order to get up there, in order to dunk. So every time that we had this court by ourselves, there was like a little table, and we used to place it under the basket, trying to get this dunking feeling, this dunking adrenaline. More and more missed dunk opportunities on different local courts. I never stopped trying though. I was so obsessed. I remember I used to do these bed jumps. I would hold these red little 3-kilo weights on each hand, and I would just jump up and down the bed trying to improve my vertical. Or I would do like 100 little jumps on each leg before I go to sleep or right when I woke up. And if you wanted to get real serious with it, school bag packed full of books for additional weight. This was the thing, like we used to do this. Now we get to the point where me and Tama found this little trick. He could dunk, I couldn't, so we would sync by counting to 3, and I would jump as hard as I could, and he would pick me up with all his strength. And that was my favorite thing because I was getting so close to getting this feeling of dunking on a real rim. Although, it was with a little bit of help, or quite a lot of help, actually. And after countless of tries, it finally happened. And as you can see, I was pretty hyped about it. Come on, man! It was the same day but afternoon when I found out about the push-off dunk. Being creative, trying to find new ways to get up there. I found out that I could get really high if I jumped and midair I pushed off of Chama's back. It took me countless of efforts to finally make it. I remember I even took my t-shirt off for weight reduction. But yeah, I finally made it and I was so hyped about it. I started screaming right after. And it was like numerous families and kids playing around. It was a playground. But I didn't really care, It really felt like an independent dunk on a real rim. Summer 2015, as every year, getting creative on this little rim we had at my uncle's house. Yeah, fun fact, this basket is still alive, it's still standing, and we still play 1v1s with my cousin till this day. I remember one time I saw a picture of Vince Carter on Facebook. For those who don't know, Vince is like one of the greatest dunkers to ever play in the NBA. And he had a quote on it. It was him dunking the ball and a quote. And I liked it so much, I used to do the same thing. I would take screenshots of me dunking, and I would put like different quotes of mine that I liked on the picture with this like over the top color grading I used to do. It was so bad, but and then summer 2016 is when I got pretty familiar with dunking the ball. This was a bit of a lower rim though. It was about 2 centimeters off of a real rim, but I could still get up there now. Now 2018, 2019 is when things start to go a little crazy. I remember I put so much work in those years. Like I used to work on my body almost every day. Even in summertime, I put about 10 kilos of muscle around that time as well. I don't have enough footage though. You know, as the dream becomes more real, you get closer to the dream, it starts to kind of fade away, don't it? But I'm now dunking with ease. 2 hands, 1 leg, 2 leg jumps, it don't matter. And pretty much getting closer to my ultimate goal, which was to finally make a windmill on a real rim. And it finally happened on October 2019, my first ever windmill. Actually, it happened earlier that year, but it was on a team practice and no one filmed it, so I don't have it on tape. So, October 2019, the first time that I ever captured myself making a windmill on a real rim, although it was my second time actually making this dunk. And then it just took off from there, you know, alley-oops, 360s, in-game poster dunks.
Οι δύο πεντάδες, θα πάει μέχρι μέσα.
I even got pretty close to touching the rim with my head this year. So yeah, goals right now are to make that and to also make this under the legs dunk, which I also came pretty close to making this year. There's one last thing that I want to share with you. I remember on every small achievement that I had over this dunking journey of mine, I would go to my notes and I would write down exactly what had happened so that I'd never forget the date that it happened. I looked up for these notes and turns out I still have them, so.
Γεια σας και καλώς ήρθατε στο Slam Dunk Contest μου.
Λοιπόν, καλησπέρα και καλώς ήρθατε στο Slam Dunk Contest μου, 8 χρόνια αργότερα.
Σήμερα θα σας δείξω λίγα καρφωματάκια έτσι για να στα νιάρετε.